When people check their credit reports, they often assume that the information they see is identical everywhere. But in reality, there are three major credit bureaus that collect and maintain credit data in the United States. And each one operates as an independent organization that may receive slightly different information about the same consumer. The topic of this lesson, the three credit bureaus explained, is about understanding how these organizations function and why credit reports sometimes differ depending on which bureau is being reviewed. The three primary credit bureaus are Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. These companies collect financial data from lenders, credit card companies, collection agencies, and other organizations that report credit information. The data they receive is then organized into individual credit reports that represent a consumer's financial history. Although these three bureaus perform similar functions, they do not operate as a single centralized system. Instead, each bureau gathers and maintains its own database of information. Because of this independence, the credit reports generated by each bureau may contain slightly different details about the same person. One reason reports may differ is that not all lenders report information to every bureau. A creditor may choose to report account activity to one bureau, two bureaus, or all three. If a lender only reports to one bureau, that account may appear on one credit report but not on another. This can create situations where consumers notice accounts appearing on one report while missing from another. Another factor that contributes to differences is the timing of updates. Lenders regularly send updates to the credit bureaus reflecting new balances, payment activity, or account status changes. However, those updates may reach each bureau at different times. Because of this timing difference, one report may reflect a recent payment, while another report may still show the balance from the previous reporting period. Over time, these differences typically even out as new updates are received, but temporary variations can occur as information moves through the reporting system. The structure of each bureau's database also influences how information is displayed. While the underlying data may be similar, each bureau formats its reports in slightly different ways. For example, one report may emphasize certain account details, while another report may organize the same information differently. This can make reports appear different even when they contain largely similar financial records. Despite these differences, the fundamental purpose of all three bureaus remains the same. They collect financial data in order to help lenders evaluate the creditworthiness of potential borrowers. When someone applies for credit, a lender may request a report from one bureau, two bureaus, or all three, depending on the institution's policies. The lender then reviews the report to understand how the applicant has managed credit obligations in the past. Payment history, credit utilization, account age, and overall credit patterns help lenders determine the level of risk associated with extending new credit. Understanding the role of the credit bureaus helps consumers recognize why reviewing all three reports can be valuable. Because each bureau may contain slightly different information, checking multiple reports provides a more complete view of the credit profile. It also allows consumers to verify that the information reported about them is accurate across the system. Within the credit strategy framework, analyzing reports from multiple bureaus can reveal patterns that may not be visible when looking at only one report. For example, if an account appears incorrectly on one bureau, but not on another, that difference can provide clues about where the reporting issue originated. The presence of three separate credit bureaus also explains why credit scores may vary slightly depending on which report is used to calculate the score. Since each bureau maintains its own data set, scoring models that analyze those data sets may produce slightly different results. This does not necessarily indicate an error, but rather reflects the fact that the underlying reports are not always identical. By understanding how the credit bureaus operate, consumers gain a clearer picture of how credit data is collected and distributed within the financial system. Instead of assuming that a credit report represents a single universal record, it becomes easier to see that the report is actually one version of financial history maintained by a specific bureau. When someone recognizes this structure, they become better equipped to analyze their credit profiles and interpret the information lenders rely on when evaluating credit applications.